At the beginning of the summer, we talked about vitamin D. Then we talked about minerals and stress, the hair mineral testing. There's a whole list of things why women end up with Hashimoto's. If you're anything like the women who email me, you now have a longer list, but maybe the exact same question that you had in May. What one am I supposed to do something about first? It's not an information problem that you're facing, it's a sorting problem. So today, we're going to go back through the beginning of this entire summer series and put every root cause that we covered into one of two buckets, thyroid or immune, because the buckets were always there. I just hadn't named them yet. I hadn't told you the framework, even though we were talking about it. So now let's sort. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition. That means your immune system is attacking your thyroid. But knowing that is only the beginning. This summer series is built in 3 phases. Phase 1 was understanding what's happening in your body. Phase 2 is learning how to think about what you're learning. And phase 3 is building your own personal discernment framework with support. So most women with Hashimoto's have a lot of information. But what they're missing is a filter, a way to evaluate what applies to them specifically. That is what this series is now designed to give you. If you want to start with a foundation, check with the show notes for Hashimoto's Decoded, new name, Hashimoto's Decoded, Thyroid or Immune. In less than 1 hour, I will walk you through the most common root causes and help you identify where to focus. My name is Esther Youngkin. I'm a registered nurse, holistic health educator, and the host of this podcast, Health with Hashimoto's. I believe your health is a blend of 5 interconnected areas: body, mind, spirit, diet, and environment. Let's work through this together. All right, the summer series started actually before summer. We started doing like a basics. What is Hashimoto's and what does it feel like? We started that back in episode 201. What is Hashimoto's and why most doctors miss half the thyroid picture? Now, that second part of the title, why most doctors miss half the thyroid picture, is the second bucket. Hashimoto's is 2 buckets. It's the thyroid bucket and the immune bucket. And your job as somebody with Hashimoto's, you get to sort which bucket am I looking at, which bucket matters today, what bucket am I addressing. So episode 201 was what Hashimoto's really is and why most doctors miss half the thyroid picture. And that is really your introduction to this 2-bucket system. And then episode 202 was the actual introduction to the summer root cause series. And in that one, I did tell you we were going to go through every single root cause. And then later on in the summer, I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of silly. Why would I go through every single root cause on the podcast when I have Hashimoto's Decoded? And you can do it right now. You can literally pause my voice in your podcast app, scroll down, click the little link to Hashimoto's Decoded, and in less than an hour, you're going to sort everything into thyroid bucket and immune bucket, and then you're also going to know those root causes, which ones most likely apply to you. So that was episode 202, talking about the root cause series. Let's get to episode 203. Now, vitamin D. What bucket does that go into? How do we sort things in real life? Okay, Esther, you told me that vitamin D is root cause. You told us on the podcast episode that most people are really low in vitamin D. You also talked about it being like a brake pedal, like your immune system. That's a key. The immune system relies on adequate amounts of vitamin D in order to function properly. And autoimmune conditions are the immune system not functioning properly. So you can probably guess right away, this is an easy one. Vitamin D is going to go into the immune bucket. Vitamin D does not directly impact your thyroid. It's important for every single cell in your body. I mean, you are made up of cells, and a lot of the things that we talk about are impacting you on a cellular level. So that's where it can get kind of tricky. Is this thyroid or is this immune? Because it kind of functions with my thyroid cells because my thyroid is made of cells, but also it really works with the immune system. So which bucket do I put it in? Well, vitamin D is going to go into the immune bucket. If your vitamin D is low, that is impacting your immune system more than your thyroid. So you get to, address that in the immune bucket. All right, so the next episode was 204, and it is all about the hair mineral test. I learned so much in that episode talking with Dee. If you have not listened to it yet, go back and listen to episode 204. Seriously, I learned so much. I had no idea that the hair mineral test could show you so much. You just snip a little bit of hair right next to your scalp. You want, the stuff that grew recently. And then you get so much information. You get a 3-month view of what's been going on in your body, especially mineral reserves. Okay, so let's go back to, is it thyroid or immune? Now, minerals, every single cell in your body needs minerals in order to function. The minerals act kind of like the spark plugs, and they fire, or they help your cell functions fire. Every single cell needs minerals, and a lot of us are deficient. I think magnesium is the top mineral deficiency for everybody, and so that's one that people commonly add. But the hair mineral test shows you more than that. And that is what I didn't know until talking with Dee. Prior to talking with Dee, I would put minerals directly in the thyroid bucket because your thyroid needs minerals. We've talked about selenium on the podcast. You need about 2 Brazil nuts worth of selenium every day in order for your thyroid to do its job. And selenium is a mineral. So when I hear minerals, I'm thinking, what does the thyroid need to function? It needs minerals. So clearly this is going to go into the thyroid bucket. But this one, it kind of goes into both because, as Dee explained, the HTMA hair test, it sees more things than just minerals. Dee said that when she's looking at somebody's results, it can help identify hidden stressors like infections or gut issues and blood sugar issues. So the HTMA test itself can go into both buckets, actually, because your thyroid needs enough minerals in order to work, but your immune system is dealing with all of these other hidden stressors like infections and gut issues, blood sugar. Those are all going into the immune bucket. So here is a test that you can get. You can get it from Dee. Just go to down below in the show notes. There's always a link to the podcast or to my website. And almost all of the episodes now have a blog post. Okay, now I'm going to make a caveat on that. This month, August, I am redoing basically my entire website. All of the blog posts are going to be archived for a minute until I update them. If you know anything about websites, everything is like surrounded by code, and I'm switching from one theme to another, which basically means like the paint on the house, or maybe it means the sheetrock. I'm not quite sure where it would be in a house situation, but in order to switch from one theme to another, I have to go back and manually fix all of the code, which is huge. I have 200 blog posts. It's going to take a while. So for the next little while, if you check the blog and you find one is missing, I am working on it. I am going in priority order. So the top 10 most popular posts are getting done first, and then the top 50 is going to take me a while. But episode 204 was the hair mineral test. And yeah, she tells you how to connect with her. It's also, the link is also in the show notes for that episode. Anyway, so you're going to take this test, the hair test, and then you get to sort even those results further into what is impacting my thyroid, like the selenium, like the minerals, and what is impacting my immune system. That is what this sorting system is all about. Instead of having things all jumbled up and saying, okay, I have these 25 things that I've heard on, different podcasts, I've read in books, I've seen on social media, I've got all of these things saved to my all these carousels saved in screenshots. I have so much information. There's 25 things that I feel like I should be working on. Well, now you get to sort them. Thyroid or immune? Which one is struggling the most right now? Which one can I support? And then take one next step. And that is what a framework really helps you do. So those were the first couple episodes. We talked about vitamin D and then the hair mineral test. Stress, That was the next one. That's episode 205. And stress is going to go in the immune bucket. That one is absolutely immune bucket. When you are under stress, any of the types of stress, we talked about the 5 different parts of the whole you: body, mind, spirit, diet, environment. You can have different stressors in each one of those categories, and all of that stress impacts your immune system. I hope that helps give you an idea of how to do the sorting. In the last episode, I helped you see, or I told you my story of how I sorted things. And now we've talked about a couple different episodes. And now it is your turn. So you can go to Hashimoto's Decoded and you can figure out the 2-bucket system. But really, before you start sorting anything, it really helps to know which questions get you real information at your next appointment. If you do not yet have the free guide called 10 Thyroid Questions to Ask Your Doctor, the link is in the show notes. I did just update that. If you have the old version, still go down to the show notes, click the link, and get the new version. As always, it has a printable page on the last page so that you can read through, know what questions and why to ask and what the answers mean. And then you print the last page, take that to your doctor's appointment so you can take notes right there and you know what questions to ask at your next appointment. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any changes with your trusted healthcare provider. To take your next step, join our school community and explore the courses available there. You do not have to figure your health out alone. So that is school, SKOOL.com, and it is the Health with Hashimoto's community. I'll see you next time on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast.